Hey, John. I'm not picking my nose, just scratching. Just scratching, pondering. I'm trying to find a bait. Hey, Mason, Tyler, what you dudes up to? I'm trying to find that old little bait that I was gonna bring back. I don't know where it is. No, this is plastic stuff. Hey, Jim, it snowed. Yucky. Is it in here? Oh, no. Oh, look. Here's my one and only. This is the turd nugget that showed me nothing. This is the one that ruined me on baby 1 minuses. And it is double stamped. It is that old. I bought this originally at Quint's Sporting Goods or Quint's Hardware in Saraland, Alabama, probably in the mid 90s. This was mine as a child. I bought this loser, and I even threw it enough to kind of get it a little rashy. But you know what I caught on it? Nothing. Nothing. I've been throwing it all off and on for decades, literally. Nothing. 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 Here they are. So I was eyeballing this little mini Mac. Here's one of them. Where's the other one? Here's the other one. I was eyeballing this little mini Mac, and or it's not the mini Mac, it's the regular Mac. Oh, this is the Mac. Burns' Mac, his old Mac. And I was thinking it was going to make a really good crawl, and I wanted to turn it into a crawfish, and I started thinking about these old colors I used to do. And I have these two. And I think I'm going to do this one in the Mac. I think it's the appropriate look for a crawl, but this is very old. But I think that's what I'm going to do on these is this color. I think that's the plan. It's going to be hard to match that top color because the it looks brown, but it's almost got this purplish look to it. It's pretty. It's kind of purpley brown. It does look like it has. It's brown, kind of, but it looks purple. I don't know. I don't know how I do this shit. It's probably just from leaving paint in the cup. It might have purple flake in it. I don't see purple flake. I don't know. I don't know how I do these things, but that's a mystery. That's a mystery. So I probably mixed purple with some green. I probably sprayed. This is probably what happened. I probably sprayed the shoulder purple. I was like, ew, that didn't look good. And then probably like sprayed green over that or something and like tried to like mute it. And it gave me this like poo-poo-y looking color, but still kind of looks purple. That's probably what happened, knowing me. But it's got the little orange flaky or little dots on it. It's a really, really good looking color. I caught them on this one. But just enough brightness to kind of make it pop, but not so much. I don't know if I'm going to do this bright white belly. Maybe more of a kind of a off-white, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. That one looks nice too. I don't have that blue anymore though. I don't have a blue in the back that is that light. I guess I could make one. I could try and make one, but that's what one of these is going to be. Hello, AJ. And then I've got this one that I got to figure out. Maybe I'll do a crawl on that one too. Never caught a fish on a baby 1- just reeling. I had to sit there and just rip it to get bit. It's because they suck, John. It's because that's the only way you can get a bite on one is to make it not do what it's supposed to do. You have to make it into a jerk bait in order to get a fish to react to one of those pieces of junk. Oh yeah, I did do that. I did do a purple PB&J on that dinger. That was a good bait, dude. Stop shitting on 1- wakes. Why? They suck. They need to be shit on. They need to be shat on. Morgan, speaking of that bait, there was a guy that he damn near won a ABT championship on that bait, a 2-day. Brendan, I don't know that they work great. I throw them out there and reel them in. And any other crankbait I have, I feel like I can just throw it out there and reel it in, and eventually something will bite it. I've been throwing that thing and reeling it in for 30 years, and nothing's happening. Clay, you like baby 1-? How many, what did I say? What do you want? 20? Let me give you a total. 20 times 20, 25, 45 plus 8. $53. See, Clay hates them too. Hadn't thrown one since 2001. They suck. EE could not catch a fish on it in Alabama, so it's your fish, not the bait. Maybe. Brendan, I will say that like there was a cult following for that thing down here for years. That's the only reason I have it, because like guys talk about it so much down here. I don't know what happened. I don't know if I just have to, I mean, it should, you know what I mean? Like you shouldn't have to seek out the stars aligning perfectly for like one bait to get like a few bites in a certain place during a certain time, during like so specific for you to get a bite. Like I've thrown it in enough circumstances that I would think one would just come up there and blast it, but and I've yet, maybe one of these days. I mean, I guess I'm not completely given up on it, because for some reason I've painted them for myself to maybe make them a little more enjoyable to throw. I don't know. I still think they suck. Don't break the tail off of it, please, Brendan. Amistad favorite. How about that? I bet you saw some stuff. 1 minus bites. -1 bites on Amistad. I bet was a blast in the Drilla. Better options these days, probably. I don't know what those are, but I'm sure I could sit here and think. Hybrid Hunter, I guess. I don't know. Clay, did you throw a Snagless Sally at Amistad? Please confirm that is what I'm hearing, because that would really, really excite me. You're like a. Oh yeah, now we're talking. What color? Bruiser? Black and yellow? White? White and yellow? Crawfish? Need a Snagless Sally chartreuse. Interesting. Morgan, there are some different things about Snagless Sally, but I don't know how in depth you could get. It would probably be pretty quick. I've been saying I'm going to make my own, like, for years and years and years, and I don't. But one of these, I've made my own hooks. The pre-chatter sleeper. So the biggest issue with a Sally is that the hooks suck. Always have. I mean, they're good enough, but they're not great. So I started making my own hooks, and it's got the identical weight to a regular Sally, but these are just random hooks I tried. I don't remember what this hook is, but I think it's just a worm hook. But put a screw lock in this one. All kinds of stuff, just random. Like I would throw any of these hooks. I don't care. But the ones that I have on my baits are actually Owner Zowire jungle hooks. Talk about a Clay. If you would have had that back in the day, the jungle hook Sally. Oh, there's one. That joker. Oh yeah. The only problem with this is, you see this thread on the outside, is that I don't know if it's the tin or if it's because this isn't lead. I don't know if it's that or if it's the coating on the hook. It doesn't want to, the weight doesn't want to stick. It just kind of moves a little bit. So I was trying to stop that. It's not terrible. It does move. But the Zowire Sally. I wish I could buy those in bulk. They were the early driller baits. We were just trying to find something we could throw in the weeds. That's pretty much it. Where does a Snagless Sally fit into your lineup? Where and why do you throw it? I see a bunch in my local shop. They look ugly. They do. They're hideous. We'll get clays out. Oh no. These don't have the right hooks. I mean, these don't have the right. Clay, did you take your weed guard off? But I'm guessing this is the one Clay threw. I don't like this blade. I don't know what it's doing on here. I might have gotten it at a yard sale. This has got an Indiana on it. I prefer the Colorado, but Brendan, you can throw them here anywhere. It's typically around grass. It's typically a grass bait. We've caught them around wood on it, but I mean, it's like Clay said, it's typically just like somewhere you throw a chatterbait or anything else, just something you need moving that you need to be weedless. So a lot of people never took off anything. So, I mean, I guess we can just go ahead and do this Patreon now. This will be a freebie since we're talking about it. Or should I not blow my wad? So there's two schools of thought on the. So they come with this weed guard. I typically remove it. What I have done is this. If you're in somewhere that's like really snaggy, so if you look at that, in theory, it sounds pretty good. Fish comes up, this collapses, you hook the fish. But what can happen if you throw it a ton is when a fish goes to bite this and inhales it, these stick in the roof of its mouth, and you never get like good hook penetration. So what you can do, if you want to keep your weed guard on, is roll the tips over. So if it goes in a fish's mouth, it rolls. It doesn't poke. No pokey. So so that is a thing you could do. I also would just cut them off. So I would typically not, like, eventually you just cut them off and you're like, this thing's just as weedless, like without the hook. And because typically you're if you're going to get grass on it, you're going to get it around the blade or like up here somewhere. Somehow the hook doesn't really catch a ton, but so I went through a phase where I was rolling the tips over, so you could not get jammed up. Because if you do that, I mean, when you stick it in your hand, like, it sticks. And but I've pretty much all the ones I throw now are weed guardless. I just go straight that. But I would cut these down too a little bit. Like, this isn't full length. But if you also notice something about these, it's not a standard. It's not how a Sally comes. Like, this is a weighted one, but they typically come like this. But you couldn't. It was hard to find the, like, 3/16 or whatever the lightweight was, the 1/4 ounce or whatever that weight. It was hard to find that with a big, like, number 4.5 or 5 Colorado. So typically you had to make your own, and you could buy these from Hildebrandt. I think they called them like the Indiana. No, it was like the Idaho spinner. I think it's what it's called when they sold them, Idaho spinner. And it's like a clip-on like that. But you could get these with big blades on them. And then you could just take your regular Sally hook and skirt and put it on there. So most of the ones I typically throw have the Idaho spinner on them, because I can get them with the big blade. Where's the Snagless Sally from? I don't know where it originated. Like, I don't have a clue where it originated. I don't know if it was like just some Hildebrandt design from like up in Indiana or wherever they were at, or if it was like somebody sold it to them or what the deal was. But can you feel the blade? Yes. I mean, I'm either throwing a 4.5 or a 5 Colorado. It thumps. You can definitely feel it. I mean, it's almost like a chatterbait, but I throw it on braid. So you have to typically throw it on braid, because you get a lot of line twists because it wants to spin. There's nothing really to keep it from not rolling over. So, and it spins, and you'll get a lot of line twists. So if you try to throw this on fluoro or mono, it's going to be a nightmare. And that's how guys threw it for years. But I throw it on braid over the last 10 or so years. Went to braid. You don't get any line twists, and it's magical. The other thing you can do if you want, I've never been a huge fan of it, but it works. There was just something about it that I didn't like. But to eliminate the line twist, and I was gonna incorporate this into my personal. I was gonna try and make a Sally for like guys down here that was better, but this is what I was gonna do to kind of eliminate the line twist. Is you can take the wire right here, and you can bend it up like that, and that gives it like a different like center of gravity or something, and that little bend in the wire will keep it from rolling over and kind of keep it stationary. So I have done that before to keep your line twist down, but I don't, for some reason, I don't like it. I don't know if it catches more grass or what. I just like it in line and deal with the line twist and throw braid. But we can get into more later. That was a mini sesh. That was pretty much all the good stuff. Maybe. But they work everywhere. Brendan, like, if you had to live out the rest of your days on the Mobile Delta, if that would, and I'm talking if you wanted to fish 12 months out of the year and you wanted one bait, that would be it. They always bite it. Like, it's stupid. Brendan, you would learn a very, very, very confusing and painful, agonizing lesson. You would be on the back of the boat going, why are they biting that stupid thing? You're not even doing anything with it. You're just reeling it in. You know? Why will they only bite that? That's what they always bite. And I think it's a title thing. I think it looks like a crab, or a shrimp or something that they like, but it's different. But Clay, do you know the precursor to the Sally? We have it. My dad used to throw them a bunch. So, what you would do in the old days when you were really bougie, was you would go and you would buy. Where'd my Sallies go? I just had them. So you would typically take, and you would go, and they would sell these in like 2 packs or 3 packs at the store, and you would buy your Idaho spinner from Hildebrandt with a number 5 Colorado on it, not this imposter Indiana. I've never thrown an Indiana, but I'll probably I'll try it. But you would take this, and then for the business end, rather than this shitty skirted crappy hook, you would take a PEX weighted fly. Check out the name. The name of the fly is the Yellow Sally. And you would take this and you would put a pork frog on it and add it to this, like so. And you were off to the races. You would be throwing a weighted fly in place of the silicone or the vinyl skirt, whatever it is. And hammer them. So this one could be my favorite, and they're really hard to find. But this is a black nickel. Really hard to find. I would like to have more of these, but that was my go-to for a while. But bruiser is the color. If you throw anything down here, they will bite other colors. They won't bite them as good as this, but you can catch a few. Bruiser is the one. If you're going to throw one, you might as well take this one. If you feel like getting funky and kind of doing something, you can deviate from it, but I wouldn't advise against it, or I would advise against it. Just throw the damn bruiser. But these skirts are actually getting harder and harder to find, Clay. I try and stockpile them and treat them nicely, but they're not as easy to find anymore because Yakima and Hildebrandt are really eating shit lately, and their stuff is getting harder and harder to find. When they get rid of these skirts, that's going to be a very, very sad day. Does it run flat? Kind of not really. It just does whatever it wants. No, that's not a creepy crawler. That's just a generic bone-colored grub. But that one's weed guardless. But it really, really, really is amazing how weedless that bait is. And the stuff we throw it over is just like, you'd have to see the water. But we're just talking about the good old Snagless Sally. Brendan, I do have one that you might be interested in. The monster version. I haven't experimented yet because I don't want to take it out of the package, but I did find a big giant one. I think Nichols was making a version. Yeah, Nichols did one. What's his Lonnie Cochran? I think he helped. I think he helped Picasso make one. But there's a lot of guys that, or there's not, I wouldn't say a lot. There's a handful of companies who have tried to like make a better mousetrap, and none of them ever like. To me, the Sally is appealing in its simplicity, and guys, have brought back inlines that have like designs on the head, and they all just end up looking stupid. Um, I think the beauty of a Sally is in its kind of abstract, ugly nature. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't look like anything, but I think that's part of the appeal of it. Like if you started putting a head on it, I don't think that matches. That's why I don't like them. I think is because if you put a head on this, I don't know that whatever this is matching is a shad. It's not to me. Um, it it's probably shad is probably the farthest thing is matching down here. Um, but it just doesn't look right. So um, Picasso made one, Nichols, but it's really, really, really niche, like hyper, micro, macro, like sub genre of bait that people who fish tidal stuff throw them. But besides that, inland, I don't think they get a lot of love. Um, but like my dad, when we would go fish like away from tidal water, he would throw that damn fly, the actual yellow Sally with the feathers, and there was other ones that were different colors. They had like the professor, and they had a couple different other colors. But they he would catch them. Like there's a clippet of Steve Kennedy on it's either Rayburn or Toledo Bend in his FLW days, and he's in the back of this pocket, and he's throwing a Sally, a black and yellow one. Um, but I think if you Google, let's see, I can pull it up. Steve Kennedy Sally. There it is. Steve Kennedy, Snagless Sally. My volume. See the pork frogs? White and green was always the choice. I never liked it because it didn't match. But it works. There it is. Green and white. Black and yellow. It's the ugliest combo you've ever seen in your life, dude. But this will just prove that early in the spring, especially, seems like cold, dirty water, pre-spawn, it would shine. I mean, that's a damn good one, dude. That's a damn good one. Another 5. That was 9 years ago. At one point, maybe 99, you couldn't find it. Everyone was sold out. Tyler, I find that hard to believe considering oh, that was at Rayburn. That was at Sam Rayburn. But I find that hard to believe, Tyler, that nobody throws it down there, considering how many people still throw it here. Tons. Because you it just fits. Because there's so many times that, I mean, the only thing I can think of that, like, you can still swim a worm in the same place that you would throw a Sally or throw like a skinny dipper, but it doesn't move the water, dude. Like, it doesn't push the water, and I don't think you get the same bite. But maybe, I mean, if you get good clarity, you don't necessarily need it as good because you can throw like a skinny dipper. But if it's early in the spring and there's been a lot of like water coming down the river and it's dirty, I mean, I don't think anything's going to top a gold Colorado. They don't even sell them around there anymore. That's dumb. That's real dumb. But yeah, my dad used to catch them all over the place on that stupid thing, and it used to drive me nuts because I used to try and leave like Delta stuff in the Delta and then go elsewhere and like do like normal stuff, and so it would always enrage me. They'd always tell him to put that old school shit down, but it worked. Now that I'm like older, I see that like it has its place, and it doesn't. You don't replace it with something. It's just its own thing, and it has its time and it has its place, and you don't try and like find a bait that does something close to it and like get away from it. You have to just embrace it and take them with you and throw them and reel fishing. So but I did make my neighbor Mean Gene made me some back in the day because he was making jigs and shit, and I was like, Gene, I need a weedless snagless Sally. I was like a real weedless one, so I can throw it around wood. So he took one of his Arky head jigs with a weed guard in it, painted it school bus yellow skirt. I put a school bus yellow twin tail on it, and he put a number 5 inline. He made a harness for me, and made me a number 5 inline for that jig, and we attached it with like a split ring, and I'll never forget it, dude. It was March, like early March, and I was on the Alabama River, like way up the river, and I was fishing around this island inside of this big pocket, like this big creek, and there was an island out there in the middle, and the wind was like howling, and it was blowing into this bank, and around this bank was just nothing but hyacinths. And I had that yellow Sally that my neighbor made, and I was up on the front, and I had my buddy Rob with me, and I was slinging that thing. And dude, pre-spawn fish, they were set up like off the edge of the hyacinths, just around like scattered wood or whatever. I don't know what was down there, but they weren't in the stuff. They were just off the edge of it, and I had to stay off of like I had to stay back a long way because the wind was like pushing me into the bank. So um, I was like making really long casts, and I probably caught on that bank like eight, three and a half pounders. And finally, I had to get down to the bottom of the boat to do something. And my buddy Rob was throwing like a war eagle, and he hadn't got a bite. And the whole time he was like, "What's happening right now?" I was like, "I don't know." And like I'd take one off and like throw it back and throw it back out there and go, "Whoa." And he's like, "This is stupid." So I had to get down to the bottom of the boat and get like a fish off or something. And or I don't remember what I was doing, but he like went around me and got up on the front of the boat and grabbed my rod and threw it out there. And I was like, "Hey, Dick, give me my rod back." He's like, "Nah." And like he threw it out there and he started reeling in. He started catching them. I was like, "Dude, give me my pole." He's like, "No, you already caught like 8, dude." I was like, "So? Go throw your stupid war eagle." And but yeah, they were they took a little bit of work, but I mean, the main reason that people don't throw them, it's not their inability to get bit, because they certainly get bit and they'll get a damn big ass bite, um, big bite. Like I said, they move a lot of water. Um, they're typically you're reeling them pretty slow, so it's appealing to like a bigger fish, but they're just ugly. They're stupid looking. They twist your line up, and they just like you don't open your like box in your boat and like look down and be like, ooh, that Sally's talking to me. No, like you throw it when you mean business, and you're like, I'm gonna put all this shit aside, all this vanity aside, and I'm just gonna try and like get the right bites, whatever it takes. Even if it's throwing this damn ugly ass thing, we're going to work. It works, dude. It works. But that those fish that day were on an all yellow one, um, like Clay would throw. Um, bruiser bruiser I threw back then, but I probably stayed with the I probably threw black and yellow more back then than I threw anything. Um, I don't know. You can't see it. One of these pegs over here is just nothing but Sallies. It's like 30 Sallies all lined up on these pegs. But fun bait. Fun bait. I don't know why more people don't throw them, especially where you are, Tyler. That seems silly to me. Like 10 yellow and 2 white. I throw white occasionally. It wasn't White was always on the very bottom of my list. I was always throwing something dark. Um, that's my that's my oldies. But there's some you got purple. It's basically purple, yellow, black, white. Not to mention all the ones that just fell off. I even have a Sally box. What is it? It's got all my fancy blades in it. All my Sally components. So here, this is clay. I don't know if you've ever experimented with this, but I've never seen these out in the wild. I got them at a yard sale, and they're really cool. And I hope I don't like them, but I think they could be cool. It's an inline beetle. See, I think a Sally catches a fish that a chatterbait doesn't catch sometimes. I've seen lots and lots of days where you could catch them on a Sally and you couldn't get them to bite a chatterbait. I've never seen these either. Hildebrandt made it, but it's shaped like a little beetle. I would think these would be good during a shrimp bite, but I've only got 2, so we'll see. I haven't broken one out. The real beetle spin, exactly. But I've looked on eBay and I've never seen that beetle blade. That's what I'm thinking. They got a thump. But this is the best one. Number 5, Idaho. Those are hard to find. Really hard to find. Especially now. Back in the day, they used not to be, but finding a inline number 5 is not easy. Pike killer, probably. It's probably what they were made for. I don't know. I don't know what their purpose was. I got to go here in a minute. I got the Beans got a Halloween parade at school. Threw inlines a ton for Stocker rainbows. I've honestly never thrown one other than a Sally. I'm not opposed to it, but I've really never ever fished for anything other than bass. Or I'd need to. Like, I've probably thrown them. I don't even think I have them MEPS. But 1/16. That's teeny. But Hildebrandt's such a cool brand, but all their stuff is so old and so like archaic that I don't know how they ever sell a bait anymore. Like, their regular spinnerbaits should have probably sold better. Like the 10 roller, badass spinnerbait. Badass blades. Skirts lacked. I think that was their biggest problem, is that they would make this badass spinnerbait and then they would like put like, they would have these beautiful blades and they would have like a gold head that looked like they would have it plated like a War Eagle gold head. And then they'd put like a black skirt on it. It's like, dude, nobody wants that. You know what I mean? Like, especially now. Now you certainly can't sell that. But yeah, they had shitty hooks. They could never get past that. I don't know who's in charge of these stupid ass companies to where they're like, they have these baits and they're like, oh yeah, that hook is the one. Like, have you ever been fishing? That's called a June bug spinner, Rich. That beetle blade. What's the JDM spinnerbait top arm with the back curve? I don't know. I'm not a JDM enthusiast. June bug spinner. I wonder if they're still Okeechobee special. Great bait. They have one called the Blade. The Blade had like a really, really sexy head design on it with like, it was like a fish head, like teardrop, and had some like deep cut gills on it. The Blade, when the Blade came out, I was like, dude. And it had like the long two double like tassel tails. It was, I would say the Blade was ahead of its time. Let's see if I can pull up a picture of the Blade. If they even still, I wonder if they still make it. Clay, do you have any more of those? Have you ever seen how much they sell for on eBay? The Blade, there it is. Looks like they still make it. Maybe. In stock. But the Blade was sexy, dude. Oh, you can't see it. Oh, you can't see the wire. Oh, come on, give it to me. Yeah, the Hank Parkers. So, Tyler, I think I've got one of those. I had one somewhere. Vampire. That's not it. Vampire. Where is the damn Vampire? Over here? There's one floating around here somewhere. There's one floating around here somewhere. Here's a T1. But this was their titanium Hank Parker. So there is a group, Clay, of guys, a cult of gentlemen in Tennessee that use and I think North Georgia, Eastern Carolinas, or Western Carolinas. I don't know about Kentucky, but they throw the T1 Hank Parker Classic, whatever you want to call it. They throw it for smallmouth. They're very passionate that the fish won't eat other spinnerbaits. They eat that one. That's the one. And I came across a bunch, and the Thai Classic, yeah, that's what they called it. I came across a bunch, and I put one on eBay, sold for $30. And the dude sent me a message. He's like, "You have more of these?" I was like, "I got a couple." I had 35. And he was like, "How many do you have?" Like, a couple. So he's like, "Will you sell them to me for 25 a piece?" I guess. So I found 3. So I sold him like $100 worth for the one he bought. And anyway, So like a couple weeks go by, I put another one up, and he buys it. He's like, "Did you find more?" I'm like, a couple more." And it wasn't just him bidding. That's why I put more up. And he's like, "If you find any more, let me know." I was like, "I really just want to put these things up and like let other people get them besides you." And but eventually, the guy bought a bunch of them from me, and and I finally asked him. I was like, "Hey, what's?" Because I think we started emailing at that point, and I was like, what's going on with these things?" He's like, "Listen, it's a smallmouth thing. It's like a Tennessee thing." Um, and then there was another guy I think bought one, and he was in like North Georgia, and I asked him the same thing. I'm like, "What are you doing with this thing?" And he's like, "Oh, smallmouth fish." Hmm, interesting. You too. So I started putting the pieces of the puzzle together, and they're like, "Dude, that's." He's like, "They break." He said, "They don't last," but he said it's the bait. So he's selling them for 50 to his buddies, probably. Probably. I don't know where my vampire is. It was gnarly. Um, Clay, get the Hank Parkers out. They're badass. Have you got the new one with the double barb? Compliments of John Pryor, the most weedless spinnerbait ever made. Big Malone, what you got hanging around? Thai Classics? Greenfish and a T1. Mans does not make those. John Pryor does. I'm assuming John does. Been out in the garage, rigged up a special swing head for the panorama bait to give it a try Thursday. That sounds promising. Oh no, AJ. You're a glutton for punishment, dude. What's the next what's the next gimmick that you're trying to hawk this holiday season? A turkey? A turkey crank with little legs on the side? Which would be pretty funny. I could paint up a whole roasted turkey and then paint some legs down the side with the little white things on the feet. I wonder how well that would sell. Oh Lord, he's made special packaging for these nice baits. You are a glutton for punishment. Pilgrim. There you go. Put a little hat on it. Just make a whole play set. Dude, I'm telling you, if you could execute a fried turkey crankbait, you could sell them. Big Malone, send all your baby wedges to me. You don't need them. They're trash. Or all your Stanley wedges. Your old 1980s crappy hooked VibraShaft Stanleys. Later, Clay. Send me those losers. I'll melt them down and make them into good things. God, AJ, I can't believe you, dude. Really, really disappointed me. Paint one like bacon. It would have the sizzle or a cheeseburger. Yeah. Just do a whole lineup, just a whole dinner bell lineup. And you could call it that, the dinner bell series. And make it look like fried chicken, like a chicken finger. That one would sell down here real good. Do a chicken finger, do bacon. What else? Cheeseburger, pizza. Oh man, I'm gonna do a slice of pizza. That one you could actually do, and I bet that one would catch. You got my novelty juices flowing because a crankbait is shaped like a piece of pizza. Hunt Brothers Pizza Crank. Now we're getting somewhere. Casey's. I'm going to have collaborations with all the pizza brands, and they're going to send me free money and pizza. I can't make a crankbait look like a piece of pizza. I went to Microsoft today looking for a little cauldron for a picture. Dude. Casey's Pizza Crank? Raising Cane's Dreamwalker. Pulling off the chicken finger paint would be tough. I don't know if I've got the skills to be able to make a pizza look like, a crankbait look like a chicken finger, to where you could actually tell what it was. In any real shape, form, or fashion. John, yes, I am painting the Mac probably tomorrow. I don't know that I'm going to have time to do it today. I'm going to start on them tomorrow. Oscar Mayer Wiener Dreamwalker. It'd be a Costco wiener. Costco dog. Will be sponsored by Costco, Casey's, Raising Cane's. I'm just going to do a whole fast food series. Oscar Mayer might want to get involved. Do a whole collection of fast food. We do talk about fast food a lot on here. That would be pretty entertaining. I'll get my agent to contact some of these people and see if they'd like to get involved. The Mac, I have decided I'm going to go back to one of my old colors from probably 2012, and it's got a similar. This Mac has a very crawfishy profile, so I'm gonna probably do it the same color as this. I like this color a lot. Every time I see it, I'm like, damn, that looks good. Matching that green is going to be tough because it's very green, but it's not like, sort of see in person. I don't know. That one's going to be difficult. That one's going to be, it's almost lime, but it's like natural lime. The mini Hellcat, I haven't put my thumb on that one yet. I haven't deciphered what that one's going to be. Half the bait sauce color. Do the tail sauced. That would be sweet. That would be sweet. Man, got some good ideas today. The pizza crank, I think, is the winner here. I'm sure that's been done. That's a layup. Well, if you look through Google Images, I don't see one. So that means it's time. Boxcomber color. Ooh, you could. Coleslaw. Be a good one. Be a great name for a spinnerbait color. Put a little green and orange in it. Some white. I'm just kidding. That's probably one of the oldest, most famous spinnerbait colors next to chartreuse and white. I don't know who came up with coleslaw, but yeah, they did good, especially with the name. That's why it's still around. Oh man, I'm about to take this sweatshirt off. I'm starting to break a sweat. They nailed the name for sure. Coleslaw. Movies. Movies might be difficult. Movies might be difficult. Have to do the ball-headed, ball-butted bear from Clare County. Tried to get my family to watch that a couple nights ago, AJ. Unfortunately, it was bedtime, but the bean kind of got hooked on it. She got to watch like the first like 20 minutes, and she was like, "I don't want to go to bed. I want to watch this." I was like, "I know you do, because it's the greatest movie ever made." What he doing? Almost back to freezing time. Wonderful, AJ. It was 55 here this morning. Felt wonderful. I wanted to go hook the boat up and go fishing and throw a snagless Sally. But I'm here. Sanding little crankbaits. It was snowing on me on my way to work today. Gross, John. Yucky. You guys should watch the Peanut movie or Paddington 2. Surprisingly good kids movie. We tried to watch The Great Pumpkin, and the baby and the bean sat there and made it through the Great Pumpkin. But trying to think, we watched the Bean got scared during the Garfield Halloween special, so we didn't make it all the way through that. She didn't like the old man in the house, which I could understand. He was kind of creepy. But what other ones? What's up, Burnsy? We just got up to 30. It's been blowing 20 plus. No wonder you're acting so crazy, AJ. It's getting cold, and all the dark thoughts are starting to creep in. That you're not going to be able to go outside and drag a jig for 4 months. What scary movie scarred you as a child? E.T.'s not scary, but that messed me up. I will say, Brian, I also agree that when E.T.'s dying and he's in the like tent and they're like working on him, that was very disturbing to me. I hated E.T. I did not like E.T. E.T. was not a good movie. Um, not not a fan of E.T. Uh, E.T. freaked me out. Just the death scene. Um, Nate, Pennywise got him as a kid. Luckily, I was never exposed to Pennywise. Never saw The Shining. I think I saw. Uh, what's the one where we're here, they're here, the TV people? What's that one? I saw that one, but I think I was too young to understand what was actually going on, that I should be scared. Um, was that Poltergeist? Maybe. I think I saw that one way too young. But I remember the movie, but I don't think I quite understood it. Chucky was creepy, but my number one of all time, they still give me the heebie-jeebies. Call me a bitch, whatever you want to call me, but it was Gremlins. Gremlins mortified me. I could not stand even the word gremlin because I would have flashes in my mind of Stripe and all those nasty little demented, disgusting creatures. And I don't know if anybody's watched Gremlins lately, but it was marketed as a children's movie. It is certainly not for children. Very disturbing. Like the dude's walking around with like a gun, like trying to kill people. It's it's not for kids. Uh, I was taken to the theater uh, with my mom. Took me to see it. In her defense, she was under the influence that it was uh, not like as fucked up as it was. And I think I was like 5, and we ended up leaving the theater because I was just like, it scarred me. Like that's how my dad disciplined me as a kid. He didn't have to like get on to me. He would just tell me he saw Stripe in my bedroom. Um, The Exorcist, that kept you up at night. I could see that. Darius, I've never seen that whole movie. I've never seen any of that movie. I don't like scary movies. I don't like dark thoughts. I don't like dark imagery. Um, I don't like those type of things. I like happy place. I don't like dark place. People that can sit down and watch like horror movies and get joy out of it, I've never been able to understand. No, I don't. I don't see the appeal of terror and like graphic imagery flashing through your eyes, like when your eyes are closed and you just like like replay a scene in your brain like over and over. Like that is not fun for me. Scary movies just give me anxiety. The wife loves them, but I can't wait until they're over. I'm with you, Paul. Like I'm good on the scary shit. Watch that new Talk to Me movie twice. That's pretty good. Is that one supposed to be spooky? Like I'll tell you one that I saw that was really bad. It wasn't bad, but it was just like the imagery of it like was burned into my brain. Was The Hills Have Eyes? Like when they go into the house and like all the creatures are like sitting around. Oh, oh, it does not. Yeah, I like Donnie Darko and like shit like that, like psychological stuff. I can get behind it, uh, but not like poltergeist, like demon possession and like shit like that. Like, I'm good on that. But if it's like fantasy, psychological, creepy, I can get behind that. Does anyone have any good scary movie recommendations? Yes, I recommend Scary Movie 2 with the Wayans brothers. Brennan, have to watch Creep. Already seen it. Watch The Hills Have Eyes. BBC is trying to get snuggled up next to a side piece and get her all spooked out. So she comes and scoots a little closer. Officer Doofy. Let me give you a hand. Why don't you give me a standing ovation? That's probably one of my really favorite lines of the movie. That's what I would recommend. And then Scary Movie 2. Or what about you could watch the Garfield Halloween special. That's spooky enough. That'd be good, Brendan. That's my level of spook. Or like the Goosebumps movies. That's like, oh, Ernest Scared Stupid. That's what you need to watch tonight, Brendan. Oh yeah, Tyler. Oh yeah, we'll be out there tricking and treating. But I am recommending, Brendan, that you get in on Ernest Scared Stupid. Watch Caroline. That sounds creepy too. All right, one more minute and I gotta go. Ernest Scared Stupid. Do it. Do it. I think I'm gonna be Pugsley from the Addams Family. I think that's what I'm being told. I don't know. We'll see. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Lucky number 13. I have 13 left. Zurg from Toy Story. Good one. Good one. The baby, she loves Buzz and Woody. That is. I'm surprised I'm not going to be Zurg from Toy Story or any character. I could be. That could be something from Toy Story. That'd be pretty good. The Haunting of the Pizza Crank. That would be a good child's horror movie. Kids and the wife are Woody, Jesse, and Buzz. I'm trying to think. Tyler, did you pick your own costume? Did you pick your character? Nothing more. We're talking about if you like scary movies or not, and what is your favorite scary movies. But I got to go because I got to go to the Halloween Christmas parade at 12. So y'all be good. Have fun trick or treating tonight. Give out lots of nice candy to kids, or have fun with your children. And don't eat too much sugar, and don't watch too many scary movies. And whatever you do, don't look out the window. Because there might be a bear!